Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today's video we want to share with you guys how we build our compost bins and how we've pretty much quadrupled our production from last year to this year. So if your crops are suffering and you're wondering how you can build up your soil, this will be the video for you, so stay tuned. So welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new here, we're a Canadian homesteading channel. We're based out of Niagara Falls. And like I mentioned, we're talking compost. So I've done compost videos before on this channel. I'll show you guys kind of our basic of pretty much almost free compost bins we got here. We got 4 of them. Really the only cost we had was just buying some chicken wire to wrap them around so that all the stuff doesn't fall out. But they've been working really good, holding up well. I mean, they're just compost bins, so nothing structural there. But the results have been really, really good. Good airflow and all that stuff. So I wanted to just take you through the process of how we do composting here. Basically, like I said, we have 4 compost bins. Originally, what I was doing is starting them, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was starting them in different processes. So I would have batches ready every 3 to 4 weeks, 6 weeks depending. And I'm not claiming to be the compost king or anything like that. I don't have a thermometer. I don't try to get it to its optimal temperature. The thing about compost, if you're thinking about it and you think it's too complicated, really at the end of the day, if you just take a bunch of crap, throw it in together, put some water to it in the summer, flip it every couple days, you're going to end up with really good compost. It just works. It's not rocket science. You can definitely speed it up by having the proper ratios, but for us, like for me, I don't have time to really be figuring all that stuff out. I just throw our stuff in. So the main ingredients we use is kitchen scraps, wood chips. Got a bunch of wood chips over there, I'll show you. We get a hold of some horse manure. Try to get fresh stuff, fresh-ish. If you don't, and basically if you have like composted manure already and you throw that in, that's great too. It's basically, composted manure is almost ready to go into a bed if it's been sitting for a couple of years. If not, you just throw it right in there. What else we put? We got some old potting soil we use from plants indoors, and grass clippings, or dried up leaves. Kind of similar to the whole that was a giant ant. Where was I? Yeah, the just fresh greens, like fresh lawn clippings. I'll throw those in, and yeah, I just stir it up, and then you end up with what I'm going to show you now. So I'll take the camera off the tripod. We'll show you these bins. Essentially, what's happening right now is I'm emptying all 4 of these bins. They're all done. The compost is ready to go into the garden, so I'm sifting it. So we'll go check that out now. So here's our compost bin 3, I guess. But like I said, right now they're all kind of in the same state. Yeah, this one I had a scrap wheel and some hinges, so I put this door on, but really at the end of the day it was completely useless. Wouldn't recommend that. But here's what we got going on. Once you dig in, you get really soft, moist compost. So I already told you the ingredients. Oh, one I forgot is wood ash. We got a wood stove at home, like in the farmhouse there. So we're burning wood pretty steady throughout the winter, and then during the summer, spring, and fall, whatever, we have our fires outside, which we sprinkle the ash in here, and it just helps boost it all up. So forgot to mention, like, I don't know if you can see on camera there, but I got squash growing out of my compost. That's how long this stuff's been in here. It's been in here all summer. Since the winter almost, it was probably ready to go. Beginning of summer for sure it was ready to go, but I kept it in here because I made another compost bin on the outside of the garden. But long story short, somehow a seed or 2 made it to the compost bins, and now I've got squash growing. So I'm going to let the squash do its thing. I'm going to take the majority of the compost out today, and we're going to start sifting it, and that's going to be our next step. Yeah, it's not the most glorious job on the old homestead, but like for us, we've really seen a difference in quality for the veggies this year. You know, last year we really ran out of time. I rushed it. I just ordered some plain old topsoil from a guy, and you know, we basically got nothing. Long short, we got hardly anything. And then all last year while we were growing, and when we were during the winter time, we did this compost, and we actually got, I'd say, at least that full trailer right there full, and we sprinkled that all over the beds. And we ended up bringing in some proper triple mix, but yeah, we've noticed a huge difference. So composting definitely works for sure. Alright guys, so we spent a solid hour and a half sifting all this stuff. You can kind of see what I was left with. You know, basically a lot of the wood chips. The smaller wood chips break down, but the larger stuff, it takes years and years for it to decompose. But basically this is what we're left with, and it's a really dark, moist, you know, just really rich soil. All sorts of worms and stuff in it. Not so much right now because it's been sitting there for all summer, but right after last winter, when it was still breaking down, it was pretty alive anyhow. So we're going to use this soil on our garden beds now. Some of the low stuff, we're going to top them up. Anyhow, so now that you've seen final product, why don't I bring you over to the newest compost bin, which is outside of the garden, and I'll quickly show you kind of what we're putting inside of it to get this result after, you know, a few months. Alright, so we're outside the garden now. This is the new compost bin that I built spontaneously while I was building the rock path there a couple months, or last month rather. And unfortunately I don't have any manure with me at the moment. I actually just went through the trailer there trying to find a little clump of it, but you can get a hold of your local farmer. Actually a really good spot is Kijiji or Craigslist. And you can, lots of places are just giving away free manure, as long as you know you go pick it up or whatever, or it's really cheap. So I would just take some manure, I would add it into here. So what we got in here is some old potting soil. We've got grass clippings and tons of food scraps. All right, we also got wood chips, and what else? I threw a couple chunks of clay in there just to see what it'll do. It's really hard to break clay down, so it's kind of a test. But basically, yeah, you come out here, you just add all those in. It's a really good idea to use fresh grass clippings. So I cut the lawn a couple days ago. I just threw a couple handfuls of you know, green clippings in there, and then you just pour the water to her every other day. And all this food and all, like, everything. This corn on the cob here, that might take a while to break down, but eventually all this will turn into what you saw in that trailer, which is really hard to believe. But and then at that point, like I said, you just add it into your garden. Bob's your uncle, Mary's your aunt. Alright guys, well that's it for this little video here. If you're into homesteading or how-tos, I would suggest you subscribe right away. We put out weekly videos, sometimes twice a week. And yeah, we're just on this 10-acre property out in Niagara Falls, trying to build a dream. And yeah, we're just, you know, gardening. This year's garden's been really good, and a lot of that has to do with our compost. So if you like what you see here, you can definitely copy us. If you have a good compost operation, definitely let us know. We're always open to suggestions on how we can up our game. And yeah, other than that, you have yourself a good night, and we'll catch you on the next one.